I'm still here above the grass. That's the good part. My name's Phyllis Westwick. I was born in April 21st, 1932. I was born on the border of Mexico and Arizona, a little town called Douglas, Arizona, which was then a big copper mining town. My grandparents, my grandmother was Spanish and her family came over to the Arizona Territory. So my children are fifth generation Arizonians on both sides. Attended Woodbury College in Los Angeles and studied fashion illustration and design. But my college education was interrupted by the Korean War because my then boyfriend was in the Army Reserve under Goldwater and thought he was going to be killed and he should be married. So we were married and then I had 3 children. Later, I was fortunate enough that he was transferred to Santa Barbara, California. And I was a stay-at-home mother raising 3 children, but one day I asked my youngest daughter, why am I always the room mother and the brownie mother, and I'm so tired of doing everything at school? And she said I was the only mother that didn't work. So I said, I'm getting a job. So I looked in the paper and found an opening at the El Paseo, a shop called Chemo's Polynesian Shop. I went down to interview. He hired me on the spot. And I fibbed and said I'd had all kinds of experience, which I hadn't. At that time, I was going through a divorce from my first husband, which I thought was probably the worst day of my life. Went to my minister, and he's at Unity, and he said, you know, each cloud has a silver lining. You might look back and think of this day as a better part of your life, which fortunately it was, as I later married my divorce attorney, but actually met him on a blind date. He did not make advances to me as a client. I had 3 children and he had 3. Mine were older and his were younger, but we melded a happy family on the weekends. We had 39 wonderful years, and he passed away 11 years ago. So I've had a very pleasant life, and I've had a lot of miracles in my life, many, many miracles, too many to count. Probably one of my greatest miracles is when I was going through my divorce from my first husband, and starting my first job, probably with $75 in my pocket, starting my brand new job as a buyer. And all of a sudden I had a call from the modeling agency across the street that I used. And she said, Phyllis, I need someone rich, that looks rich. And I said, I'm as far from rich as you can get. And she said, well, do me a favor, just come over and try out in front of these gentlemen. One's a director from France. So I went over and tried out, and later she called me and said, Phyllis, I thought she said, how do you like your job? Well, I love my new job. I said, I love it. She said, no, you have the job. You get to do the commercial with the movie actor tomorrow in Hope Ranch, and they want you to choose something to wear tonight. Well, I couldn't believe it, because the movie star was one whose picture I had seen when I was going to college in LA. He was my dreamboat. Richard Denning was his name. Big, tall, handsome. We went to Hope Ranch. And fortunately I could wear something from the store. Went to Hope Ranch, and all day long, all I had to do was put my arm around him, and he leaned over to kiss me. And I got $150 the first day. And then later that year, I received $8,000 in residual, which was really, talk about manna from heaven. But I've had many other wonderful miracles in my life. That's just one of many. I just feel very blessed to have had a wonderful life. And I have a large circle of friends, young friends, a lot of young friends. That's probably my passion, my friendships, of which I have many. I love visiting with people here and listening to their stories. I still try to remain active, and I talk a lot. I once remember looking in the mirror and staring into my eyes, and it was like, I remember thinking, it's like looking into your soul and talking, probably to myself, hoping I would grow into a fine adult woman. Was what I had promised myself, that my life ahead would be a good one, and this was probably at some point just after the war ended. I think, and I kind of felt that there was a future, and I promised myself that there would be a higher good probably in my life. I think one of the lessons I had is, as a youth, I went through the Second World War, and we did without a lot. We had no sugar, we had no chocolate, we had no chewing gum, we had no balloons, my mother could not wear stockings, silk stockings, and yet people pulled together. We had rubber drives, metal scrap drives. We saved stamps. I think we learned the art of doing without and appreciating each other. And I think our patriotism was very high then. We had a lot of tolerance for people. I think it was a time of doing without, but the great patriotism that I found in this country, I feel has been lost a great deal on young people. They have so much materialism now. There's so much materialism, it seems, and yet I know that young people, I have great faith when I meet young people like you and other young people, and I know that this world's going to be all right. I think doing without sometimes is a great teacher in your life, because you learn to appreciate so many more things that come your way. I think that's probably the greatest lesson that I learned, was going through hard times and appreciating the good times a little more. How's that?
It's great.
For an ending.
Yeah.